What is up, my friends? It's a brand new week and you are very welcome along to Monday evening's Anfield Agenda News Roundup. Today we're going to be talking about a familiar link in attack that always divides Liverpool fans when I discuss it. We'll be talking about Liverpool's opponents, Arsenal, and how they have managed to keep so many clean sheets this season. We'll have a little bit on a transfer target at centre-back and a few other bits and pieces that I hope keeps you right up to date with where we are currently at in this season. As always, folks, I want to know your thoughts, so feel free to let me know in the comment section. I sincerely hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, don't forget to hit that like button, and I will see you guys back here then tonight at 8:45 for the late night agenda. So look, let's get stuck into it straight away because I've quite a bit to go through, and I want to start off with that familiar link that I mentioned just at the start here, and that link is to a Newcastle player, and of course it isn't Alexander Isak because we've already signed him. Reports in Spain, strangely enough, say that Liverpool have identified Newcastle United winger, you know where this is going, right? Anthony Gordon as their top target to eventually replace Mohamed Salah. The Reds' analysts and scouts have been closely monitoring Gordon's performance for more than a year. However, Newcastle view him as a vital part of their squad and have made it clear that they won't entertain any cut price offers. Look, this is a link that goes back a couple of seasons. We almost signed Anthony Gordon when he was away with England on international duty during one of the summer competitions, and of course it fell apart right at the end. That interest has always been there, but I have to say I'm somewhat dubious of this link and whether he would be the Mohamed Salah replacement. I can't see it, especially because he normally operates on the opposite side there for Newcastle, but every time we discuss Anthony Gordon, it really does divide Liverpool fans right down the middle. Some feel that he would be a decent signing and others think he's far overpriced and just wouldn't cut the mustard. So I guess what I'd like to know from you guys is, if you had one option right now, realistically, to bring in for a long-term Mohamed Salah successor, who would it be? Would it be Anthony Gordon, Nico Williams, Antoine Semenyo, maybe somebody else altogether, like Michael Olise as an example? Do feel free to let me know in the comment section, but you know my take on this. I've always been a fan of Anthony Gordon. I do always understand that people think he can be a little bit lightweight, goes to ground too easily or whatever, but he's a Liverpool fan and that does mean a lot to me. Also Premier League proven, and he seems to be getting better, so let me know your thoughts and what type of price you think Newcastle would demand. Look, firstly, I think any phone call or email that goes in will be put straight into the bin because I'm sure that there isn't great form between Liverpool and Newcastle regarding transfers. Another link that I wanted to talk about was at centre-back, and Graham Bailey of TBR Football said, TBR Football understands that Chelsea, Liverpool and Manchester City have all held discussions this month about the prospect of signing Bayern Munich's Dayot Upamecano in 2026. You know my take on this if you're a regular viewer of the channel. I don't want us to sign Dayot Upamecano because I don't think he's good enough. I do think we got the better centre-back when both those Leipzig centre-backs went up for sale. Dayot Upamecano, of course, went to Bayern Munich and we got Ibrahima Konate. Now, on Konate, I only had a chance to watch back Saturday night's match of the day last night, and it was actually refreshing to hear the commentators, and not the pundits, the actual commentators on the game that BBC used, really calling out the laziness of Ibrahima Konate, that he couldn't even be bothered tracking back for Shada's goal. He gave up the ghost. Also speaking about other lazy bits of play from Konate during the game, and it's good to see that it's not just us Liverpool fans who are frustrated. If the pundits are calling it out and commentators are calling it out, you can best be assured that Ibrahima Konate is not hitting the form that we know he's capable of. So it doesn't look like a new contract is forthcoming anytime soon for him. But I do have to say I'd far rather Konate stay and commit to Liverpool than bring you Dayot Upamecano. But of course, I'd love to know your thoughts on that one. Liverpool have announced this, that Alisson Becker, Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk have all been shortlisted for the 2025 FIFA Pro Men's World 11. And congratulations to all three gents, and fingers crossed they get into that 11. Look, all worthy recipients of that accolade because they're all top-notch players. Yes, maybe Mohamed Salah and Virgil aren't going through the greatest bit of form right now, but there's no denying the big impact they had last season for us in winning that Premier League title. Now, with some good news, there's always some bad news, and unfortunately Liverpool FC announced this today. Liverpool is saddened by the passing of former goalkeeping coach Jose Manuel Ochotorena, who passed away, and of course we send our condolences to his family and all the coaches or the players that he coached. Freddie Woodman, let's talk about Liverpool's third choice goalkeeper for a minute, We know Liverpool play Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup, and my preview for that will be coming out tonight at 10:45. But we're getting a little bit of a hint about what type of changes we may see in this game. And one of them will be in goal. Paul Gorst of the Echo has said that Freddie Woodman is in line to make his debut for Liverpool against Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday. Now, for what it's worth, I disagree with this decision. I understand if you have three goalkeepers, you're going to want to give some of them games. But for me, Georgie Mamardashvili needs as many games as possible so we can have as good a look at him as possible before Alisson comes back in. So I would have gone with Georgie Mamardashvili for this one. But it'll be interesting to see how Freddie Woodman gets on. And again, I'd like to know your thoughts. What would you do? Would you carry on with Mamardashvili, or do you think Woodman deserves a run out just for being a model pro and being backup? Right, so I mentioned at the start of this video that we're going to talk about our opponent's Arsenal, or our rival's Arsenal, and why they're keeping as many clean sheets as they have this season. TNT Sports put out a statistic that is quite simply ridiculously good if you're an Arsenal fan and daunting if you're not. Arsenal have conceded just one shot on target in the Premier League in October. One. I think we conceded that within the first 10 minutes of the first game, probably, but one shot on target. That's not a goal. That's just one single shot on target in October in the Premier League. And that is how you build a title-winning team, with that level of defence. So take no Virgil, Canade and the Liverpool team, because that's what we're up against this season, and that's the standard that's been set. Liverpool return to actions, we know, on Wednesday night, and I think we've got another hint of CHIESA starting in this one because he is on the matchday programme on the cover. So surely we can expect Federico Chiesa to start the game. And one more player who we're getting a little taste of, perhaps, is somebody who's a bit of a lost name at Liverpool. This piece here, again from Paul Gorst of the Echo, said that Calvin Ramsey, who last played a senior match for Liverpool nearly 3 years ago, could be an unexpected choice at right back for Wednesday's League Cup game against Crystal Palace. Now, I'm already starting to get concerned that we might be getting into the realms of too many changes for this game. It depends how you look at it. Do you want this to be a confidence-building win against Crystal Palace, or do you use it as a chance to rest and rotate players? I think you can probably find a sweet spot somewhere in the middle, and that's what I've tried to do with my predicted... Well, it's not even a predicted 11, my preferred 11 that'll be out later on tonight. At right back, I can understand the thinking if Calvin Ramsey's there, because you've only got one fit right back at the minute in Conor Bradley, with Jeremy Frimpong still out. Gomez, of course, will probably be utilised at centre-back, so I guess this will give us a chance to have a look. What really stood out for me, though, in Paul Gorst's piece there was the fact it's been 3 years. It really has flown along those 3 years since we signed Calvin Ramsey from Aberdeen, and we thought, you know, we've got this really exciting right back who, like Trent, loved to get forward but has been plagued with injuries since. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets a run out on Wednesday night, and of course we will be covering the game for you starting an hour and 15 minutes before kickoff. So that is it for this evening, ladies and gentlemen, but I will be back tonight at 8:45 for the late night agenda. Anybody who joined us for last night's stream, I do appreciate you. It was a difficult one. It was an emotional one, as we were, you know, venting, getting off our chests how we're feeling about this season, and we went a bit longer. We went about 2 hours and 20, I think, last night. So, and that isn't what she said, by the way. Never, truly. But there you go. That's for another day, isn't it? Right, I'll see you guys tonight at 8:45 for the late night agenda, and as I mentioned, preview coming out as well. We'll talk soon. Bye bye.